Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to One for Our Planet, an initiative by Pernod Ricard India that we at News18 Network are proud to present. I'm Anand Narasimhan, and we are continuing our conversation on making sustainability a part and parcel of life. With climate change challenges that lay ahead of us, the very future of the planet hangs in the balance. The time is to act. The time is now. Some would say that our current choices have led us to where we are. So we have to ask the question, couldn't adapting to a more sustainable alternative actually be a good thing? Is there value to sustainable development beyond the environment? Could sustainability lead to a stronger business proposition? Can it be more profitable? To understand these nuances more clearly, we have a stellar panel joining us today. First, we have our campaign ambassador and a much-loved actor, entrepreneur, youth icon who holds the cause of sustainability very dear to her heart. Welcome to the show again, Katrina.
Thank you.
We've been having some great conversations. Look forward to more. And from the formulators of the industry, first initiative, One for Our Planet, we have the Chief Commercial Officer of Pernod Ricard India, Ranjit Oak. Ranjit, hi. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for partnering with us in this. Now, Ranjit is going to talk a lot about what the initiatives of PRI are, but also joining us is a very, very special change maker, a forest officer from Odisha, whose work in the conservation of wildlife and biodiversity is truly exemplary. You heard about the Hirakud Dam? There's a very interesting project that she's been involved with. We'll talk about it. Her community engagement programs have helped strike a critical balance for the delicate ecosystems of Satkusia Tiger Reserve and also the Debrigad Wildlife Sanctuary. And she also mobilized the local community to create Odisha's first self-sustaining eco-village, Muduligadia. Now, we are so happy to have you with us, Anshu Pragyan Das. Thank you very much, Anshuji. We'll talk at length with you. But before that, here's a quick sneak peek into the work that she's done.
I am Anshu Pragyan Das. I am presently working as Divisional Forest Officer, Hirakud Wildlife Division. Debrigad Wildlife Sanctuary is located in westernmost part of Odisha. It is a very beautiful sanctuary with a 352 square kilometer area. The most imminent threat to wildlife conservation and environment is human-related pressure. Our primary motto of Forest Service has been to provide alternative to the forest-dependent communities so that we create more inviolate space for the wild animals. We check what kind of wild animals have crossed the routes. We have camera traps fixed in different parts of the sanctuary. It is a very technical and scientifically we manage the wildlife habitat. Important task remains handling the communities who are surrounding the sanctuary because they are the major stakeholders. So a part of our team also remains busy every day in conducting different level meetings, building tolerance towards environment and environment protection, wildlife conservation and different kinds of confidence building measures has been our priority always. I feel very content with the help of local community could bring results in the landscape. Also cultural transformation among the people.
So some phenomenal work that's been done. I knew about the Hirakud Dam and the Hirakud project, overall. But in terms of the work that you've done in conservation, as a government officer, are you one of the first to deep dive into sustainability, conservation, Anshuji?
Odisha is very rich in forest and wildlife resources. And since years, the people of Odisha have been conserving it with lot of love and care. So conservation is in our blood. And since years we have been doing it. And as government servant, being a forest officer especially, our job is to work for both people and the environment and we have kept on doing it as our job also. It is a passion working for wildlife and the environment.
Well, she is the first government official from Odisha to receive the prestigious NatWest Group Earth Heroes Award as the Green Warrior for your work. But this ecotourism based in Budmore, that's based on conserving the natural environment through a business model. Tell us a little more about it and what kind of lessons have you learned?
Odisha is pioneer in developing a unique ecotourism model, that is community-based ecotourism, in which community members are not only the stakeholders but also the decision makers. And the objective behind launching this kind of model is to preserve the environment, yes, to reduce dependence from forest and provide livelihood to the forest dependent communities. Ecotourism is one of such segment which has changed not only the socio-economic condition of the landscape, but it has also brought cultural transformation among the villagers who are working for ecotourism.
You as a brand ambassador for many brands, you as a campaign ambassador for One for Our Planet, you as an icon, as a celebrity, you're somebody who's also who's spoken about sustainable fashion. Now, how sustainable is sustainable fashion? Let me ask you that, if I may put it that way for you. And how small or big an impact can it create?
The footprint that the fashion industry leaves behind, I've actually just recently started reading about it. I was reading about it on the site of a brand called Reformation. And they've actually been one of my favorites. And I went into there because I knew they were a sustainable brand, but I said, let me see exactly what it is that they're doing and what makes them sustainable. So the way that it was explained is actually just like a crash course for anyone who wants to know about this. It's really about using materials that are recyclable. So the reason you're doing that is so there's less waste going that's ending up in a landfill. And then, of course, you know, their emissions and the carbon emissions and everything like that, and how they're manufacturing and how they're using and making these garments. But is it important? Yes. I think, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be, but it was definitely the fashion industries in the top 5 industries that are, you know, that are polluting the environment and that are leaving behind, you know, the damages that we're seeing all around us. So I personally have seen it. I follow a lot of industry sites that you are seeing major fashion houses across the world making big changes, whether it's in whatever way they can to be more conscious of the footprint they're leaving behind. And I think when you're seeing big fashion houses like that lead, everyone is going to follow on down the line. For us as consumers, in fashion at least, I think using, or at least being a little conscious to not, what do we do with the clothes that we're no longer using? Being conscious of fast fashion. Do you really need to buy this? Is this something we really need? Of course, being in the film industry and in the fashion, you know, industry, in a way, it is something that even I've started being very conscious of. Recently, I took all the clothes that I felt were not of use, and I've, you know, encouraged everyone. Yes, they're clothes that have been worn. They're pre-loved, pre-used clothes, as we call them, but encourage them to, you know, do a sale and to distribute those the proceeds of that sale to a charitable organization.
Is this a growing consciousness within the Hindi film industry or the film industry per se? The film industry is a huge workforce.
It's huge for sure. And I think that there are a lot of people that are conscious of it. I mean, one of the leading fashion stylists, Anita Shroff, and of course her husband, Homi Adajania, she is such a tireless, actually, campaigner for the environment in so many ways. And it's from her, actually, that I've learned a lot of this. Recycling your wardrobe. We've been starting to see a lot of even international celebrities.
Yes.
You know, it's kind of like this taboo to wear something again once you've been photographing it. But now you're seeing even celebrities internationally really repeating clothes on the red carpets. It's small things like this, but that is gonna, these feelings will kind of trickle down into people, into girls, into consumers who are looking up to celebrities and the way they dress on the red carpet.
Well, and it's important when influencers, icons like you start talking about it, then others believe if she's doing it, I should too.
100%. Like a girl who might be feeling conscious, maybe she's going to a party in her school or something. Okay, no, but I've worn this dress before. that should be erased. I mean, that concept to me should be eradicated. You know, we need to be able to repeat clothes. When you're doing that, you're going to be leaving behind a much smaller, environmental footprint behind. You're going to be reducing that wastage, and you're going to be doing your bit to kind of help the environment. It's small, but every little counts.
Phenomenal. That's like a take moment, and we need to push this on Insta Reels maximum number of times.
Reuse outfits,
Yeah,
wear outfits, recycle your clothes.
Absolutely. Reduce, reuse, recycle. So Ranjit, let me come to you and ask you, as Pernod Ricard India, what and how is sustainability becoming a key component with respect to product offering or service?
Yeah. So I think sustainability is no longer seen as something that is being done by one department somewhere in one corner for ticking a box, right? The way we look at it is that it actually comes from a much deeper sense of purpose. And that deeper sense of purpose is not just for our brands, because each one of our brands also has a deeper sense of purpose, but it's also for individuals within the organization. And we are seeing that people coming to work today want to have that deeper sense of purpose to make a change. The ability of an organization to be able to harness that or bring it to the fore is probably the most important piece, as I see, for a sustainable organization. Sustainability needs to be looked at as a multifunctional effort. It's not just one person who can make that change. All the departments need to come together, all the stakeholders across, not just within the organization. So I think that's what sustainability it means to me now.
Doing away with mono cartons is a big, bold step.
Yes.
And moving into one for our planet and very aggressively pushing it. How difficult or easy was it? Because I think this is a big step in the industry that you belong to itself, in the category and the product segment.
Yeah.
How easy or difficult was it?
So we've been operating in this industry and working for it for the last 20 plus years. And there are a lot of initiatives that we've done which have favorably impacted the environment. But I think this particular initiative was probably one of the toughest to kind of think through, because we were making a leap of faith and saying that let's move forward and make a difference, make an impact. But everything needed to come in place, right? Right down till not just the internal departments taking a conscious call to kind of take that step forward, but everybody within the stakeholder network. And I think, to me, the biggest one came from when the shoppers themselves are now talking about making their choices based on how companies are conscious.
We've got to take a short break, but quickly, Anshuji, I just want to ask you this. We can talk a lot sitting inside studios. Doing it on ground is tough. How difficult was it, especially in these remote areas? I just want to ask you that.
We mostly deal with people who are in stress because of forest, because of wildlife, because dependence on forest resources is very high in India and Orissa also. So when there is a coexistence between three factors, nature, wild animals and people, we have to be very, very kind and conscious about the need of the people as well as the space which animals require. So I think it is a luxury working in remote areas. Perseverance works actually, and working in wildlife field is a tough decision, also a tough task for many. Perseverance and commitment towards your work is always the key.
On that note, we're going to take a very, very short break. As we've seen, sustainable actions do not need to come at the cost of good business. In fact, it makes better sense for corporations and individuals alike to adapt to the way of the future. We leave you with this thought. What is the one action that you can take today that will add to a sustainable future? There are many small and big steps to take. What will be yours? One for our planet. Join us after this very short break. You're watching One for Our Planet, an initiative by Pernod Ricard India. Welcome back to One for Our Planet, a sustainability initiative by Pernod Ricard India. Today we are discussing the impact that sustainability can have on a global scale. How can we step into the future with a safer, healthier, more holistic approach? And what is the role of corporates in bringing about this change? How are consumers reacting to this shift? and how are individuals choosing to make a difference through personal initiative. On our esteemed panel to talk about all of this, we have internationally acclaimed actor, entrepreneur, and the face of this campaign, Katrina Kaif. Good to have you with us as always, and Chief Commercial Officer of Pernod Ricard India, Ranjit Oak. We'll talk more at length, Ranjit. And our next guest is a really special change maker of the future, environmentalist, leader of the youth movement called Beach Please, Malhar Kalambe. Started out as a teenager organizing cleanup drives at Mumbai's beaches at 19? He was just telling us, and mangroves. He was busy cleaning all of that up, using the power of social media as a digital influencer, content creator. This initiative now has engaged over 250,000 volunteers. He's also one of the youngest environment change makers to make it to India's top 100 digital stars. Good to have you with us, Malhar. Thodi lambi baatcheet karenge, but first, take a look at this.
My name is Malhar Kalambe and I'm from Mumbai. I'm an environmentalist and I'm the founder of a youth community called Beach Please. Beach Please is basically a youth-led community, a community by the youth and for the youth. We primarily organize weekly cleanup drives in and around Mumbai. We initiated back in September 2017. We know that we are not even touching the tip of the iceberg, but we are at least taking some baby steps towards environmental conservation. When you talk about environmental degradation, you have to come down to the beach and see the state of the beach in order to experience and understand it better. And that's what we're trying to do through beach cleanup drives. Are we good to start? Yeah! Let's do it. So what we're trying to do basically is provide a platform to the young change makers, sensitize them through the cleanup drives to care for the environment, not necessarily come for the cleanup drives, but at least if each one of us starts living a more eco-conscious lifestyle, I think we wouldn't have to come on the weekends and do the cleanup drives. Over the years, this has turned into a youth movement, and what I've experienced is a lot of people look at us as inspiration. They have replicated the Beach Please model into different cities or states of India. I want to take Beach Please on a global level. I want to make it a global campaign, because plastic pollution, climate change, environmental degradation is not only restricted to Mumbai or India, it's a global phenomenon. I think every other country is going through it. And I think the more people we sensitize through our campaign, the better it is going to be for the environment.
Well, that's some phenomenal work, Malhar. How did this start? Let's start from there. You founded Beach Please, and you've cleaned up a lot of Mumbai's beaches. It was a handful of friends. How big has your foundation and your organization grown into now?
So I always say that, I'm an accidental environmentalist. I never planned to start a cleanup movement, It so happened that I went to a beach one day, the other beach. I saw the dirty state in the beach was, accumulated with plastic waste. Somewhere that triggered a question inside me that why are the beaches in Mumbai dirty and the beaches abroad are so clean? Whereas Mumbai is the financial capital of India. I came back home, I was having a conversation with my mother regarding the dirty beaches. It went on for like half an hour or so. I was basically ranting about the dirty beaches in Mumbai. At the end of the conversation, my mom simply said that if you think the beach isn't clean, just go and clean it. It's as simple as that. And that is something that motivated me to do a cleanup drive. So I called up my school friends, that we have to go and clean a beach. Would you like to join me? Fortunately, 20 of my school friends joined me at the cleanup drive. And I initially thought that, that I would clean the beach once and would stay clean forever. It was after a week that I realized that with every high tide, there's more waste that comes back to the beach. And it's been like, 262 weeks now. We've been going every weekend and doing the cleanup drives now.
You think that, it's people throwing, it's the sea telling us all the junk that you're putting back at me, high tide, I'll throw it back at you and keep it where it is.
I think that Malhar has already taught us two important things. One is that mothers know best. And two is that if you want to make a difference in any place in your life, ask the right questions first.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's really congratulations on what you're doing. It's so inspiring. It's so inspiring and so interesting. And I think this is one point that is particularly close to those of us who live here in Bombay and especially on the beach. This is very excited. I think we're all excited to hear what you have to say about this.
Yeah, we've also been talking, saying that it's the next generation that's going to do something.
That's right.
The planet that we got, the planet that we leave behind. It should be a better planet. That's the motto. Yeah. Let me ask you, do you see a mind shift? Because you interact with a lot of the current generation. So do you see a mind shift?
So we have a volunteer base of 1,20,000 students in and around Mumbai.
Wow.
Fantastic.
90% of the volunteer comes basically from schools and colleges. What we have realized over the years is there are a lot of young people that want to do something for the environment or for the nation, but they don't have the platform. So through Beach Please, what we're trying to do is give a platform to these young people to work for an environment, to work for the nation. And I think that really, helps them understand the problems better. Now, for a fact, we know that we have kids as young as 6-year-olds coming for the cleanup drives. But we know they're not very effective in terms of cleaning the beaches. But experiential learning is something we're trying to give through our community, Let them learn something at this very young age, and that will stay with them forever.
So let me ask you, how important is this platform, and can it be used towards promoting the message of sustainability?
I think that's one of the most positive things about the digital era. I think we've heard a lot of the negatives. A lot of the negatives are often discussed, but the positives is that it can be an incredibly powerful platform to bring about awareness to areas that need attention, on to areas that need to be highlighted. I mean, I can imagine it sounding very like an inspirational journey, but I can imagine that when you must have started, you didn't have people like running after you to help you. Now that you're successful, of course, it must be easier, but to get awareness and to garner support for what you wanted to do must have been a tough task for you. Absolutely. I don't imagine it was just like, it's not easy. And that's where social media can be extremely powerful. Having the platform to maybe share something like Beach Please. That's right?
Yes.
Getting Beach Please to get more awareness, getting more kids to get on board, or getting the youth to get on board more to help in this drive, or just being aware also. I mean, this for me, it was such a big learning. What Malhar just told me now, that a lot of the kachra that we see on the beach is not coming from people necessarily leaving it there, but it's coming from
the rivers.
From the rivers bringing it back.
Eventually, it's people putting it, but it's going into the river. The river is going into the sea, the ocean or the sea, and the sea is throwing it back at us.
I mean, that in itself is something which is so important for for everyone to learn and understand.
You don't live far from Juhu Beach, so the next time they're up with
I'm going to be, as we call it, I'm going to be sliding into his DMs. I'm going to be sending him a DM, and I definitely want to be looking up. Definitely will be looking at what Beach Please is doing. I think it's really inspiring, and what a great example for everyone and the youth. Really.
Well, that's inspiring enough. And then, you guys are doing some phenomenal work. So, Ranjit, let me just come across and ask you, a large part of who you are going to cater to, not just the current generation, the next generation, how important it is for you to engage with the youth and for the youth to understand that you're also working towards sustainability. You as corporate are trying to become more conscious.
So I think for us, it's important that the youth gets what initiatives we are doing. But I think more than anything else, we are also learning from them. And actually, I'm very thankful that we can see the movement coming from the youth. I mean, even at home, it's my kids who will be pushing me in a particular direction, and not just talking about big pie in the sky ideas. There's small changes that keep on starting the movement, right? So I think. To me, the youth is showing us the way in terms of how we go. From a business point of view, I think the most interesting part is that they've also started making choices based on how a company is coming across. And I think that is phenomenal for commerce, because then it becomes a commercial choice also, and not just a conversation starter, or not just, again, something that's nice to do. To the point that you were making earlier, Katrina, I think the entire concept that we have about buying new fashion, right? It comes from, my daughter tells me, I'd much rather do thrifting. A new concept. I wouldn't have thought about it earlier on. Yeah. But the youth is telling us and showing us the way. So for us, we keep communicating, doing what is the best that we can do. And we hope that people like Malhar will keep on showing us the way.
I'm going to seed a thought, and we're going to wind up.
Yeah.
Seed a thought here, that why doesn't Pernod Ricard one day say, one weekend, it'll be Beach Please, and we'll all go clean the beach together.
Yeah, it's a lovely idea.
So let's just pitch in as a beach cleaning activity.
That's a lovely idea.
Let's just do it with them. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of yet another episode. Fantastic conversation. A lot more to talk about, celebrating and learning on this journey towards sustainability. We'll be back on One for Our Planet, a Pernod Ricard India initiative. See you next time.
Let's become one to save water, to protect forests, to reduce waste, to clean the air. Let's pledge to become one. One for our planet.
To take the pledge, log on to news18.com, One for Our Planet. Pernod Ricard India presents One for Our Planet in association with News18 Network.